many of you have one of these? I'm sure you all do, right? Well, how much about these things do you really know? I'm sure we all know that there's some good things. I'm sure we all know that there's some bad things. But why are these things good and why are these things bad? Today I'm going to discuss with you some of the disadvantages, the advantages, and we're going to dispel a couple myths about cell phones. According to a summer issue of the New Atlantis, they reported that more than a billion people worldwide use cell phones. That's a lot of people. And also, Americans on average spend around 7 hours a month talking on their cell phones. First, let's talk about some of the disadvantages that there are to cell phones. First, the big one, cell phones and driving. I'm sure we have all done it. I've talked on my cell phone while I've driven. I probably did it this morning on my way to school. I'm not proud of it since I am doing this speech, but I gotta tell you the truth, right? Well, according to Time magazine, the Obama administration reports that there were nearly 6,000 deaths and over 500,000 injuries caused by distracted drivers and their cell phones. In lieu of this, 18 states have banned texting while driving, and 7 states have banned talking while driving. The second disadvantage I want to talk about is the distraction that they play in the learning environment. Now, teaching today is a teacher's aid that they have online that teachers can trade tips and everything. They discuss the distractions that cell phones play in their classrooms. The first thing they noted was that students were distracted because they were text messaging their friends, they were talking during class on their cell phones, and it was just a big distraction. The second thing that they noticed was that students were sharing answers during tests. And the third thing that they noticed, that teachers noticed, was that students were taking and distributing inappropriate videos and photos of other students around school. Now, the third thing I want to tell you about is the disadvantages, the privacy issues. Now, CNET News reports that there are services online that private investigators use or law enforcement use, and they can pretty much pull up your phone records of who you call, when you call them, when they call you. And what these private investigators and this law enforcement does is they use this information to find out where you spend most of your time during your day. But now they're finding that criminals are exploiting this system, and now we have sex offenders, we have abusive spouses, and we have people tracking you through these same websites. Well, now that we've covered some of the disadvantages, let's talk about some of the advantages. The first advantage I want to tell you about is the parental tracking. Now, AT&T, I'm sure we've all seen the commercials, they offer this family map service. Now, what this service is basically is that a parent, wherever they are, they can look up on their phone or they can log onto a PC and they can find out where their child is at any time, anywhere. Now, this is good because if your kid has a cell phone and they get lost, then you can always figure out where they are. Another thing about parental tracking is a service called Guardian Angel Technology. And basically this Guardian Angel technology is just like Verizon. It's also a phone service, it's a phone carrier, except it's more inclusive to helping you find your kids and find out where they are. This Guardian Angel technology, what they say is that along with tracking where your kids are, when they're in a car, you can track how fast they're going in the car. If you're a parent, you want to know how fast your kid's driving, or if they're with someone else, you want to know how fast they're traveling in the car, right? Well, this Guardian Angel technology, it's a very useful thing that parents are starting to use now for their kids. The second advantage I want to talk about is communication. Now, communication is everything, and speed is everything. We're noticing that the faster you can get your message across to another person, the more in a good position you're going to put yourself in. A person is as far away as your fingertips. I can type in 10 digits in my phone, and I can be connected to someone in New York in an instant. The third and most important advantage I want to talk about is the emergencies. How many of you have had car problems on the road, or you got stuck in traffic? What's the first thing you do? Whip out your cell phone and call someone and have you help you, or you call your boss and let them know you're going to be late for a meeting, right? Another thing about these emergencies is how many of you have been in a scary parking lot? Or how many of you women have been in a scary parking lot? Some of you guys have been in a scary parking lot. You call someone and you say, hey, stay on the phone with me until I get to my car so you know I'm safe. I mean, I've done it because I used to go to Starbucks and I used to get out at 2 o'clock at night, but I would call someone and say, hey, stay on the phone with me so I don't get raped and parking. Another thing is, how many of you know that COD offers an alert use system? I've signed up for it. Basically what this alert use system does is you can sign up for COD to send you a text message whenever there's an emergency going on campus, right here in your campus. And basically what they're going to tell you is, what's happening, where it's happening, like what building, who's involved with it, if there's any property that's involved with it. And pretty much, this is a very useful system that, you guys should look into and sign up for. The last thing I want to talk about is the myths and their validity. I'm sure we've all heard a couple cell phone myths, right? The first myth, cell phones crash planes. Now, this myth is debatable. I can't really tell you if it's true or false. It's true in the fact that the FAA and the FCC prohibit the use of cell phones and wireless devices while you're on a plane, but how many of you forgot to turn off your cell phone when you got on a plane? And did your plane go down? Well, you're still here, so obviously not. Another thing about this is that the ABC News, they reported that David Russell, who's a COO of On Air, which is a Swiss communication systems, he states that this is more of a concern as opposed to a fact. So, I mean, I'm not telling you to go try it when you get on your next plane because I can't really tell you whether or not your plane's going to crash. It's debatable. The second myth, cell phones cause cancer. I'm sure we've all heard this one. Now this is also debatable, the first one. The National Cancer Institution, they did a study of this, and they found that no, there is no correlation to cell phone usage to brain tumors or brain cancer and such. They did find, however, that people who use their cell phones over a period of like 10 years, that they were more susceptible to brain tumors and brain cancer. Basically what this means, have you guys ever talked on your phone for a really long time and it got really hot when you were talking? Now what this is radio waves are being emitted from your phone. And what these radio waves do, they're like a microwave. They boil the water that's closest to it. If you're holding that phone to your head and it's getting hot, your body's made of 75% water, and you have a lot of water in your brain, and so these radio waves, they're going to go to the closest body of water that it has to it, which is your brain. So I mean, if you're talking on your phone for like 7 hours at a time and it's heating up and everything, in the long run, you're probably going to be way more susceptible to brain tumors than anyone else, The last and final myth I want to talk about is cell phones that lower sperm count. Now, sorry ladies, but this myth is for the guys. Well, I guess you could be worried about it too. This myth, unlike the first two, is actually true. Dr. Robert W. Griffith, he found out that there was a study in Ohio at a fertility clinic, and 350 men participated. They separated the group into 4 groups based on cell phone usage, and they found that basically the more time you spent on your cell phone, the less fertile you were. So I hope that you guys all have a better understanding of what you have in your pocket every day and what you guys understand. So thank you very much for your time.